Hey, welcome to the show. I'm Dustin and I'm taking your suggestions on what props I should try to recreate using everyday materials without spending a lot of money. So I'm going to show you some of my DIY techniques and some of my low budget tips and tricks. Let's get started. Alright, so today I'm gonna try and make the pulse rifle from the movie Aliens, which is the gun that Ripley learns how to use. It's kind of like a big machine gun and a grenade launcher. She even tapes it to a flamethrower and uses it that way for part of the movie, so she kicks a lot of alien butt with this gun. And it's pretty straightforward to make because it is mostly just a gun, but there's some specific details on here that I think it will be worth it to add. So I figured the easiest way to go about doing this was to just buy an actual plastic gun. It was $27. It's the only thing I had to buy because it has all the right pieces that I can kind of chop up and rearrange and build on top of. I feel like I have all the actual components. I'll be able to kind of cut off this orange part. That gives us the perfect back. I'll just build up along the top with this kind of brown part. I'll put a new pipe there for a new barrel and then just move this one down and that becomes like the grenade launcher section, I think. And then add onto it with some cardboard and some metal and stuff. Oh yeah. Look, it's already in pieces. Aw, I don't know how to work guns. Alright, we're done. Take that, Iron Man. Alright, so I'm gonna start by just tearing off all the pieces that I don't want and start ripping and sawing stuff apart. So I'm just gonna use this little hacksaw. It's pretty good at cutting through small amounts of plastic and metal. Alright, so I'm gonna reattach the barrel a little bit lower and figure out some kind of pipe for the new barrel on the top and figure out how to connect all of that and make it really solid. Alright, so I'm gonna find some pipe because I've got a lot of miscellaneous pipes and things. PVC pipe is too big usually, but I've got some old pipes. I always hang on to old pipes. Too thick though. Actually, yeah. This is an old curtain rod. That might be just the right size. And it's thin, so it's easy to cut. Alright, I think this is our barrel. So I'm gonna put the ugly side in so that the nice side will be at the end. Alright, so as I glue this on, I'm gonna make sure that it lines up with this barrel. I want that to be really, really straight. I think I'm gonna drill a hole and put a screw all the way through the plastic just to really make sure it's secure. Yeah. Alright, so I think I'm gonna put some strapping on both sides just because like you really need this to be solid. Alright, so this is the old plumber's tape and it's great that it has holes in it already because I'm gonna cut a strip and I can just attach 2 screws and hold this thing into place. These little guys. A lot stronger. I'm just gonna flatten this part out a little bit. Kind of a place for it to sit. I think I'm also going to use this strapping along the sides to hold this barrel into place because it kind of has similar shapes, kind of gun-like with these holes. So I'll put 2 strips of these on here. Alright, so instead of using the hot glue for this, I'm going to use a super glue. All super glue is basically cyanoacrylate. Now it's different than regular glue. You can't really blow on it to make it dry. It doesn't work like that. But one of the cool tricks with super glue is that you can buy an accelerant that you can spray on top of it and it sets it immediately. So that's really cool. Yeah. I'm going to cut off one more little piece of this curtain rod and bend it out a little bit so I can add it to the end of the barrel. Alright, so I'm just gonna glue the back piece and this magazine into place just so they're nice and solid. Alright, that's looking pretty cool. So before I build up all the cardboard structures, I'm gonna just give this a nice coat of black paint. Alright, so I'm gonna go with the flat black spray paint. Okay, painted black. Now I'm just gonna cut the back of this off. Theirs goes all the way across the top, all the way to the back. I'm gonna just reattach it a little higher just so we can go straight across the back. So this is just a bigger hacksaw than the one I have inside. This is made for metal, but I mean it flies through plastic, so. Now I'm just gonna use some cardboard and cut some specific shapes that I can glue along the top of this. Everybody has pieces of the Death Star in their shed, right? Yeah, I'll bring this one with us. Alright, so if you plan on making stuff out of cardboard, just hang on to the boxes when you get them, when you get packages in the mail. Free cardboard. So I really just have to eyeball this whole thing by looking carefully at the pictures and then drawing out the shapes that I want based on my actual gun size on the cardboard so I can make the right folds and cuts and glue this whole thing onto my gun in the end. Before I do anything else, I'll just glue this into place. Alright, so I left these pieces long across the top instead of just cutting them right off. Now that this is glued, I can fold them down and then cut that strip exactly so we have a nice continuous piece across the top. It's like a puppy. This little back section right here is rounded, so I'm gonna close this one off and then I'll put a separate little rounded piece right here. So cardboard is actually pretty good at bending and making curves because it's got corrugation in it. So make sure and take a look at where the lines are facing, and you can usually kind of just bend it and curve it by just pressing on it. You can make some pretty nice bends like that. So sometimes for these really specific pieces, you just have to hold a little piece of cardboard up and make the first few marks and some cuts and fit it into place, then make the next few marks and cuts and just do it little by little like that. So your pieces fit exactly and you don't have to worry about any actual measurements. You just kind of do it as you go. So specific. There. So it's nice and solid. Now we just gotta figure out a way to line the inside so it's not hollow, and then we'll be good. Before I cover this top one up, I'm a little worried that this cardboard is gonna be flimsy when we grab it. I could just throw a little piece of pipe in there. I think I will. Super strength. Oh. There we go. Okay, we're almost there. Alright, I'm just gonna build on top of this existing magazine with more cardboard, just so I can make the exact shapes that I want, because it needs like another trigger and stuff here. Gotta figure out this inside piece. Alright, so now I need to figure out some kind of little trigger. That's for the little grenade launcher part. Gotta be a trigger in here somewhere, like this one. Alright, before I paint this cardboard, there's a few other little specific shapes that I'm just gonna cut out little tidbits here and there and glue them on. So this plastic piece that I ripped off of the top is now gonna be attached to the bottom. Mine's not gonna be able to slide because that'd be a little too hard, but I'm just gonna glue it on. I wanna add a little piece right here to the tip, so I'm gonna find an old piece of pipe that I can just glue on there. Alright, so now I'm just gonna mask off the parts that are gonna stay black, and I'll paint the rest of this kind of brownish, greenish color. Alright, ready for paint. Alright, so I'm gonna start with a nice even coat of gray primer. Alright, I'm gonna do kind of a mix of green and brown and see how it goes. Alright, so that's pretty green, so I'm gonna try and do like a really light misting with this brown. I'm gonna go back to the green, back to the green. I think I'm gonna do a light coat of black now on top of all this, see what happens. Alright, paint is done, so now the masking tape comes off. Alright, so I'm just gonna add a couple of real screws on here. So I'm just using sheet metal screws because they're nice and pointy, they'll grip the cardboard, and they have a flat head. Alright, so the finishing touch here is there's a digital display on the side of the gun that shows how many rounds are left. You can find free digital fonts online. I just typed in 99 in Photoshop and printed it out. So I'm just gonna stick that right here on the side. You can also just draw it with like a red marker or something if you needed to. So I'm gonna use the tacky glue because that'll hold it in place, but it won't make it wrinkle too bad. Luckily I just had these tiny black screws. Alright, I think this digital display is really what helps sell this thing. Where are the aliens? Show me the aliens. That's what they say in the movie, right? Alright, so that is my low budget pulse rifle. This whole thing cost me $27 and that was just for the toy gun. Everything else I already had. Cardboard, screws, old paint. So let me know in the comments what other props you want to see me try and recreate, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more awesome content, and I'll see you back here soon. The name's Ripley. Ellen Ripley.